Hi! I've never actually planned to make YouTube videos like this one, but today one of my all-time favorite YouTubers, Adam Neely, put out a video called Is Laufey Jazz? And I don't actually want to answer that question myself. For that, just watch his video, it's really good. I want to respond to some points in the video that I have my own thoughts on, and I just wanted to let them out. And for that, first I want to ask the question that's kind of a topic in Adam Neely's video, and that question is jazz struggling? Now, in his video, Adam refers to another video made by Viggy, I hope I don't mispronounce it, titled How Laufey Revived the Worst-Selling Music Genre. Admittedly, the video I discovered Laufey through.
Because jazz was struggling, but one person beat all the odds, and that's Laufey.
I don't think this guy fully understands the discourse that he has just created.
Now at first, I'm not a jazz musician. I'm a musician, yes. I'm planning to release my first single really soon. And my music is somewhere between lo-fi and indie pop. And
a little bit of jazz sprinkled in every now and then.
A statement that some people might think is wrong or might even be offended by, I'm not sure, I don't know. I was, however, at a music school for 3 years where jazz was basically everything. I learned a lot of music theory regarding jazz, and I had jazz piano and vocal lessons, and I got to know a lot of really talented young jazz musicians. And yeah, I really love the culture and the positivity and the creativity of the scene, but I personally enjoy writing my own songs way more than doing covers, and I'm not that much into vocal improv, and well, actually I didn't really grow up with the sound of jazz, so yeah, I wouldn't consider myself part of the jazz community. I guess Viggy wouldn't either, which is probably why he didn't know that.
You don't need to go to a different decade to experience this music. Young people never stopped making it.
Is he wrong, though, when he says that jazz needs to be revived? I mean, that jazz is the worst-selling music genre, that's not really new, right? So, yeah, I think what this comes down to is the question, what does life look like? Did you notice how Adam always speaks of young jazz musicians when he's referring to the viewers and listeners of the videos or artists he brings up?
You don't need to go to a different decade to experience this music. Young people never stopped making it. And it's very popular. Viral clips on YouTube are relentlessly watched, studied, and discussed among young jazz musicians.
That makes me think that for him, life means that there's young, passionate people that plan to keep up the culture, so the scene isn't dying. That is vastly different from what Viggy was talking about, though, when he was speaking of the worst-selling music genre. See, I know some jazz musicians, and most of them kind of seem to have given up on the idea of selling a lot or like reaching huge audiences, or maybe they didn't even care in the first place. Hard to say. There is this sentiment that changing your own music, that adapting to what's popular, that is selling out. It's considered morally superior to stay completely true to your and your culture's roots and don't change to reach more people. And I think there's some truth to that. Like, I think we all like musicians more that we feel are like truly being themselves, not being opportunistic or riding like every trend to get as much money as possible. And I know many extremely talented musicians that are happy to do exactly what they love, playing for a very select few that really live jazz music and are able to appreciate the nuances of their craft. But there's a problem with this. Music isn't just for musicians. By many people I know, jazz is considered to be pretty elitist, like reserved for the few that truly understand the music with its history. I can be a pop music lover without knowing ABBA or Madonna, But being a jazz fan without knowing Miles Davis, not so sure. But not only that, the music itself is oftentimes extremely complicated. Spicy chords, weird time signatures, and so on. And don't get me wrong, I love spicy chords and weird time signatures. I just feel that whenever someone makes an attempt to change it a bit to appeal to broader modern audiences, it's instantly not considered jazz anymore. And that, I think, is very problematic. Like, jazz is not very welcoming to outsiders. I've been to quite a few jazz concerts and jam sessions, and the people there are extremely kind and open to visitors most of the time. So what do I mean by not very welcoming? Well, imagine this. I invite you to dinner with my German family. Let's say you don't speak German. You're greeted kindly, we offer you food and drinks, but for the whole evening we only ever speak German, even when directly addressing you. Will you feel very welcome? Of course, some people might take this as an incentive to learn German, but most will just decline the invitation next time. For many jazz musicians, I feel like incorporating elements of popular music, speaking English in my example, means like selling out to them, means betraying the culture. But I can tell you about my German family's culture while speaking English. Okay, enough for that metaphor. What does it mean? So should everyone aim to be popular? Well, I don't think so. Should we change the music we make for more people to like it? Not necessarily, but let me put it this way. I don't think you should complain about some wrong image of jazz getting popular without at least trying to make the right image popular yourself. And that means using vocabulary that non-jazz musicians can understand as well, language-wise and musically. If jazz musicians don't start filling the word jazz with something of them that non-musicians can also understand, it will be filled by other people. Laufey, for example, who is extremely relatable, feels approachable and, normal. And I actually think Adam Neely is a prime example for that. He does a great job explaining music in general and jazz in particular, but I think that this type of making jazz music approachable for a broader audience, well, it would be great if more people from the jazz community did that. So, these were my thoughts. Thank you for watching, and I'm really looking forward to your comments on this. Yeah. Bye!